Shifting future, shattered dreams, end of times ain't what it seems.
Hello friends, this is Sam Chaney reporting for Weaponized News. Today is June 30th, 2025. Thank you for joining us on this Monday edition of Weaponized News. A lot to get to as always. We have Ruckus co-hosting on the line, so I don't want to leave him hanging there too long. Let me get right to it. The big beautiful bill back and forth. Musk is acting up again there now, calling for a new political party, as he's calling it the Uniparty. It's the government, man. All looks like a big distraction to me, as they got their big technocracy in place here now. So we're going to go over all of that. The shooting, the killing of 2 firemen up there in Idaho. All hands on deck from the government, apparently, over that bizarre story. What else do we got? We got a lot going on. Russia and Ukraine, they're still at war, killing the hell out of each other. Not good. And so promises made, promises made, promises kept by Trump. I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. They're on Ukraine, Russia. Today in California is the new California State Convention. I was going to go to it, but it didn't work out. Hopefully we can get some reporting on what all went. It's going on today and tomorrow, I believe. And so hopefully we can get some reporting about what all went on there as the attempts to form a new state in California continue. We have a lot of bad news out of Aardvark land. Thankfully, our Lord and Savior Bibby is scheduled to come to America and tell us what to do next Monday. So we have that to look forward to. And a bunch of geopolitical news, back and forth, international news. And I'm going to wrap up today with a presentation. It's like, a year and a half old or something, but I think it's still very solid. I just ran across it, so I thought we would play it. And it's like 50 minutes long presentation, Digital ID or Digital Prison, and 5 pillars to enslave humanity. And so, of course, we'll have to sign off of YouTube at the end to play this very important presentation. And it's all very relative to where we are, as the one world government agenda is not stopping in any shape, way, or form. Don't be lied to out there on the interwebs by your, quote, fake patriots that are filling you up with hopium, because none of this stuff has changed. If anything, it's accelerated, as we saw China, 2 weeks ago, we reported, along with the Pacific Islands, has dedicated themselves to accelerating Agenda 2030. Nothing is, Trump didn't save you. None of these Republicans saved you. No Democrat saved you. It's also tiring. It's the government, man. So we got all the, Trump has issued an executive order to remove sanctions on Syria, i.e. ISIS. And they say, oh no, we're fighting the bad Assad, the former head of ISIS over there. Oh, I'm sorry, the head of Syria. And we're not funding all the bad people anymore. And it's just nonsense. We're taking sanctions off of ISIS, i.e. Western intelligence, now running Syria, as it's part of the larger, greater Aardvark land project, as we continue to report here for you. And they're trying to backdoor more land theft. As Aardvarks admit, they're killing people going for food aid. They're killing the genocide continues there over the weekend, killing a bunch more Palestinians. And it just goes on and on and on. But they're the greatest, and don't be anti-Semitic and don't question them, or U.S. foreign policy for that matter. As who's it? The Justice Department? Somebody put out a memo. They're targeting us now for questioning U.S. foreign policy, as it should be in a democracy, in ultimate freedom given to us by Trump. Right. And so all this coming down on this Monday, as we await Friday, 4th of July, as we celebrate independence in America here, allegedly from UK. looks like they're still very well in control here with their proxies, Aardvark Land, and others pulling American strings. Let's get to this day in history. The noticing continues. On this day in 1294, Aardvarks are expelled from Bern, Switzerland. And so that continues to be a theme that we notice throughout history. They just can't seem to settle anywhere without being thrown out. I don't know. Maybe it's the anti-Aardvarkism sentiment throughout history that is so disturbing. Or maybe they're up to no good doing satanic ritual abuse type of activities. It seems following the Talmud. It seems that's more in line with what's actually happening, what we're noticing here. But I know, God forbid, they're God's chosen people. In 1520, down there in Mexico, we saw the Spanish conquistadors expelled from Teclan following an Aztec revolt against their rule under Hernan Cortez during La Noches Tristes, the Night of Sadness. Many soldiers drowned in the escape, and Aztec Emperor Moctezuma II dies in the struggle. Going all the way back to 1520. Why don't we get any hate for Spanish colonialism? You don't see much of that from the left wing. We need to encourage them to start hating on the Spanish for their colonialism. In 1734, on this day, the Russian army occupies Danzig. In 1860, we saw a famous Oxford debate on evolution. Famous debate on Charles Darwin's theory of evolution is held at Oxford University Museum on this day, dominated by arguments between Thomas Henry Huxley, the Huxleys, the eugenicists, Sir Huxley, and a primary founder of the scientific dictatorship that we keep going over, Sir Julian Huxley, and Lord Bertrand Russell, amongst others. But this is their daddy arguing for evolution because this is part of their religion, allegedly, supposedly. And Bishop Samuel Wilberforce had that debate on this day at Oxford University Museum in 1860. In 1864, we saw the Yosemite Grant Act go into place. Did I save that? 1864, here it is. Yosemite Grant Act signed by President Abraham Lincoln, bestowing 200,000 acres to the state of California, establishing America's first state-controlled park. In 1894, on this day, Korea declares its independence from China, asking Japan for aid. In 1905, the theory of relativity, and many people out there say it was a team that put this together, and Albert Einstein was just a front man for this quote science. But the official story goes, in 1905, 27-year-old clerk Albert Einstein publishes his theory of special relativity, the relationship between space and time in equation, famously E equals mc squared. In 1934, Night of the Long Knives, and this shows that your work for tyranny for the state always gets rewarded in your own demise. It continually happens throughout history. We notice such things, but the order followers of the state will continue, and they will be thrown under the bus when the tyranny comes into fruition. But on the Night of the Long Knives, particularly in 1934, Adolf Hitler stages a bloody purge of the Nazi Party in the Night of the Long Knives on this day. In 1936, Gone with the Wind was published by Margaret Mitchell. In 1940, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service was formed. And then they can go ahead and come after you for fishing without a license, hunting without a license, and then say it's for your own freedom and good. We appreciate that government tyranny. Established in 1940. In 1953, we saw the first Chevrolet Corvette manufactured. In 1955, the Johnny Carson Show debuted on CBS TV. In 1990, East and West Germany merged their economies. Quite significant there. In 2019, on this day, then President Trump, in his first term, became the first sitting president to set foot in North Korea in the Korean demilitarized zone in a meeting with Kim Jong-un. And also, fast forward 2 years ago in 2023 on this day, former Brazilian President Bolsonaro is barred from running for office for 8 years by the country's Supreme Electoral Court after he's found guilty of abusing his power. But don't they all abuse their power? What the hell? He's some kind of right-winger populist guy. Can't run for office there in Brazil. Sounds good to me. And then, yeah, that's all we got. There's a lot of good segues we had, but I thought, what the hell? We got a lot of bad news and sorrow to report to you today. So we'll start off with some good news. What the hell? We got a few clips here as a segue to bring on Ruckus from Alternate Current Radio of the General Lee. So over there in Kentucky, I guess they got bored and they decided to, they had some Dodge Challengers there in their inventory and decided to jump them over the Somerset Fountain in the town square. And it totals out. I forget. I used to like General Lee. What is it? Dukes of Hazzard, right? As a kid, I used to like that show. And now it's politically incorrect because, of course, they have the stars and bars painted on the roof of the General Lee, so we're not allowed to acknowledge the fact that the Confederate flag even existed anymore, as it's been memory hold. But anyway, they did put on quite a show, jumping the General Lee over the fountain. Here's a few videos of it, but I remember reading something about the show that they had like over 100 of these cars, because every time they would do one of these jumps, it just blows out the suspension. And you can see in this video exactly what I'm talking about. Here's a few clips of this, the General Lee jumping over the town square fountain there in Somerset, Kentucky. You can see it blew out. I think we have another video, but it blew out the whole front suspension on this thing. Maybe I played the wrong one. Oh, here's another. We got some different angles. Here's a good angle of the jump right here as well. And you could see when that thing lands, it just blows out all the suspension. So I think this is here's another angle of it. Pretty good shot as well. Not very straight on the landing, but again, the first clip, back to the first clip, you could see here the suspension on this thing just gets destroyed, as you would expect. Contrary to television belief, these cars are not made to jump over fountains. Let's watch this one more time. And that car's done. With that, here's Ruckus. How you doing on this Monday, Ruckus?
I'm fine, Sam. Thank you. I hate to say it, but this is one of those instances where AI might actually be better at this job than the stunt driver. I mean, it's all good for the stunt driver, the bystanders, for the car, certainly. You didn't have the video I was hoping you were going to show, but I saw a nice slowed down version of the guy who almost got ran over trying to retrieve his camera. The guy could have saved himself much sooner and quicker and easier jumping out of the way if he didn't run for his camera. It was crazy. And everybody cheering, and the person behind that wheel is like, oh my God, I just risked my life for this. For what? For like a 2-second freeze frame slow motion shot of him jumping through the fountain. Why do people do this? Just go with AI, everybody. And I'm glad you brought up Albert Einstein. He's one of my all-time favorites. It is a darn shame about him. Did you know he's one of those words that he's a pothead? I hate to tell everybody. But yeah, good old Albert Einstein there. But thanks for having me on the show today. We're gonna have some fun. I'm hoping.
Here's the thank you for joining us today, Ruckus. Yeah, here it is. Jumping through the blue. For some reason, they put that the blue dye that's been banned in the public drinking fountain there, water fountain at the town square in Somerset, Kentucky. But
that way the computer can edit the blue water into anything that they want, like fire, lava. It's a computer trick. That's all.
So that was a feel-good video. I felt like going into this 4th of July week. And here's another feel-good video maybe for you. I don't know. This has been, somebody erected an art project outside the White House. A golden television was placed outside of the Capitol with a loop video of Trump dancing alongside Epstein. Below it, the plaque reads, "In the United States of America, you have the freedom to display your so-called art, no matter how ugly it is." Let's take a look at this video of said piece of art.
So somebody has placed this piece of artwork across from the Capitol. And let's take a peek in closer. And you can read what it says. And then let's take a peek up here. Get you the best I can. And of course it's Trump with Epstein, which no one cared about him until they thought Trump was in the picture. And common sense tells us that if they had evidence of him doing terrible things with Jeffrey Epstein, that they would have used it against him by now.
Would they have used it against him by now, Ruckus? What do you think?
Well, last time I checked, it's not a crime to dance terribly. It's an affliction that a lot of us white men have suffered through our entire lives, actually. Yeah, I don't know. Wait, what a shame. What is the art? Is the art how terrible Trump dances? Because it's pretty goofy. Apparently, I thought that was just an older Trump thing, but as you can see from the nice, younger, more viral, viral, is that the word, Trump, hanging out with Epstein? He that's his move, baby. I wonder, I don't know how far it got him on the island or wherever it was that they were hanging out together, partying. Probably a nightclub. Sorry, my bad.
We love free market capitalism here in America, but essentially the government has stolen through passing legislation. They've stolen TikTok and forcing them to sell it. Here's Trump's found a buyer, and so this isn't tyrannical, fascist behavior by the federal government at all. But Trump has found a buyer, he claims, for TikTok. Let's watch this short clip. Quite amazing in the free market of America that they claim it is.
No big deal. It's like TikTok. I'm extending that, but no big deal. We have a buyer for TikTok, by the way. I think I'll need probably China approval, and I think President Xi will probably do it.
Who's the buyer?
I'll tell you in about 2 weeks.
A big technology company there.
Very, very wealthy people. It's a group of very wealthy people. But what I want to do is, and what I will do just sometime prior to the 9th, is we'll send a letter to all these countries There's 200 countries. You can't talk to all of them, no matter how many people you ever.
In America, the government can just seize your company and then sell it to their cronies. And then we're all just supposed to love it and say, well, at least can't be mean to aardvarks anymore on the old TikTok. That's where we're at in America here now. And the MAGA Republicans just don't seem to understand how wrong this all is.
2 weeks must be the new 33.
I was going to say, Trump keeps throwing up 2 weeks for everything.
It must mean something. There must be Freemasons. Reach out to me, members of secret societies. What's the deal with the 2 weeks? It's got to mean something, right?
There's something up with 2 weeks. They have to have done some deep psychological testing and said, focus group, all this kind of stuff. How they come up with these schemes to market us, propagandize us. And so somewhere along the way, they said 2 weeks, you can sell anything to these idiots. And apparently they're sticking to it. Okay.
2 weeks to slow the spread. Oh, I think I know where they came up with this idea, dude.
Back to the two again. 2 firefighters, sadly. This is a tragic story. I don't know what firefighters were doing wrong. Well, they were slaying up there in Idaho. Never forget Ruby Ridge, where the government killed dude. Now I can't remember his name. I used to know the whole story I studied that a lot, actually, back a long time ago. But anyway, remember Ruby Ridge. So allegedly, 2 firefighters were ambushed and fatally shot. I believe that part's probably true. I don't know about the ambush. Somebody shot them while responding to the Canfield Mountain wildfire. Authorities announced that the suspected shooter had been found dead on a burning mountain. What do we make of this crazy story?
It's pretty crazy. You're thinking of Randy Weaver, by the way.
Oh, there you go, Randy Weaver. And the FBI, the sniper for the ATF that was also at Waco, shot his freaking pregnant wife and killed her.
Yeah, she's the one. I always forget her name.
And I forget the sniper's name, but same guy that killed a bunch of people at Waco, and he gets like awards from the government for it.
That's classic. We've moved on from that one. That's kindergarten level. This is college level, kids. Yeah, I don't know. This is very interesting. My eyebrows are immediately raised over this one because I want to pay attention to how the media is going to try to spin this, because first of all, we know nothing about this. First of all, the headline says that all that we're allowed to know or are supposed to know or be left with is that 2 firefighters were killed in an ambush. Like, the jury is still out on a lot of things. There has to be a police investigation and all this stuff before we determine what this really was. Maybe it was a surprise thing. Maybe they thought they were somebody else. Maybe they thought they were cops and they were dealing drugs. Who knows? So there's a lot to, but the media is going to immediately, they want to leave you the impression that somebody ambushed them. And then I'm guessing that they would love to plant the seeds that this had something to do with those dirty, like immigrants that aren't allowed to be here. It's going to be something related that they can tie to the previous administration, the current administration, and then the left media who still supports the previous administration can say, look what's happening under the current administration. And it wouldn't be the least bit surprised if some way down the road, probably on X, I'm just guessing, somebody's going to put breaking red alert. The person who is a suspect, the gunman who killed 2 firefighters in an ambush, is suspected to be an Iranian terrorist or something like that. And there'll be no proof to that. They'll just throw out some garbage like that, but it'll spread for a little while, and then we'll get the full story and everyone will forget about it and move on. But then 5 years from now, they'll be like, well, remember when the Iranian terrorist killed those firefighters? That's the way the media works these days, people.
I was going to say that. You did a great, I think you covered all your bases there. A man armed with a rifle started a wildfire Sunday and then began shooting at first responders in northern Idaho mountain community, killing 2 firefighters and wounding a third during a barrage of gunfire over several hours, authorities said. And so that's the AP and the authorities. And so we can't trust any of them, but that's the official story. And it sounds very bizarre. What the hell is blame Iranians? You know what I mean?
It couldn't possibly be just a lone nut who has more than a few screws loose and just committed the classic. Just kind of crap happens all the time. People are mentally disturbed and violent and triggered. He's probably a product of like Instagram or TikTok or something, on drugs or off of his drugs. That's how that usually works. So anyways, but what do I know? I'm just a pro-Hamas supporter. We all know that.
It was a big deal. They made a big deal about it. How many hundreds of, well, here's video. Here's video. They, of course, all of your order followers made a big deal about it. What a waste of resources, but hey, who cares? I'll just show a short video of it. Was that needed, all of this? I don't know. And it just goes on and on. The video is like 2 minutes long, a line of government vehicles mourning. And it is sad and tragic that these firefighters got killed, but waste of public resources, dare I say. I guess I'm not allowed to say that. So there's that story. Like you say, we probably never will know the full truth. Here is again, Barron apparently is running the official White House X account. Here's this doesn't seem very healthy to me. Red, white, and blue straight into our veins. What? What do you make of this? Are you going to inject red, white, and blue this 4th of July straight into your veins, Ruckus? For America?
I'm hoping that's a metaphor, but probably not either way, to be completely honest with you. Maybe last year might have been the last 4th of July I proudly celebrated as an American, clinging on just like maybe half a toe still dipped in that water. But man, after everything I've been through this past year, I'm going to have a difficult time waving an American flag, which is probably going to be made in like China or North Korea or possibly even Iran, just to make it all so silly.
I need to get an American flag made in Iran. No, you can't get anything from Iran. They got the sanctions block everything.
Yeah, I promise you probably won't find an American flag made in Iran, but check me on that. But I think I'm right.
Here's for our skeptical. I see already in the chat, Karen says it's probably a psyop. It probably is. But for Karen, here you go. Trust in Trump, right there. This is pinned to the top of the White House official gray checkmark account right there. You can see trust in Trump. It's just so painfully freaking juvenile and stupid.
MAGA tit.
White House is claiming big victories here. 11 Supreme Court victories. Let's run through them. They posted this just a few hours ago on their X account. This is from last week, of course, but they say 11 Supreme Court victories for President Donald J. Trump. I thought it was us, we the people, but apparently not so much. Nationwide injunctions, transgender military ban, third country deportations, ending federal DEI funding, terminating probationary employees, terminating high-ranking executive officials, revoking TPS for Venezuelan migrants, revoking parole status for CHVN migrants, social security data access. Oh, they love that. Re-injecting intrusive discovery order number 1, rejecting intrusive discovery order number 2. I don't even honestly know what these last two are for. I know what number this one is for. It means that they're streamlining. They're taking the information silos, as they told us, and streamline them using Palantir to have a dashboard where they can just push one button and they have everything you don't even know what they know about you. And it's all right there in a nice little dashboard, one click, and they got you databased up one side and down the other with a camera up your rectum, Ruckus. That's what that social security data access means.
I thought I was feeling a little sore in the backside today. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. Not my backside, of course. This is 11. Now that is an interesting number. So that one I did notice right away that they're releasing this pictogram of 11. They cherry picked these because I think we reported about some of these just on Friday, right?
They did cherry
But
pick these.
they took some of their favorites, the ones that are winning for, not for us, not for the American people, not for the U.S. Constitution. Although they say this in like fine print on the back page after saying this is a huge win for Donald Trump. Wow. So yeah, I'm so happy that Donald Trump is winning. But I mean, that's only going to carry my enthusiasm so far, dude.
Do the dance.
Is that what's missing? I just got to do the dance and trust in Trump, and we're all right. You know, maybe that's what's missing. I should probably order one this year just to try it out. Get myself a MAGA hat. There must be some magic, some sort of special spell that happens once you don the MAGA hat. See what I did there? But yeah, maybe I'll check that out one day.
Trump mega bill, of course, the one big beautiful bill as he's been branded. And I've been noticing they've been selling it hard. The Hill reports just a few hours ago, Trump mega bill faces GOP holdouts amid marathon vote-a-rama. And over the weekend, the Democrats forced them to read the bill, and the reading took 18 hours. And you think any of them paid attention? I doubt it. 3 conservative senators, Ron Johnson, Rick Scott, and Mike Lee, are pressing for the adoption of an amendment that would cut an additional $313 million in federal Medicaid spending. And so everybody is in there politicking, trying to get their pork barrel in this thing. It's just a friggin' disaster. That's what I do agree with Elon Musk about it. This thing, it's got surveillance in there, let AI run wild, right? You can't do just all kind of disaster, pork barrel nonsense, surveillance state tyranny in this bill, Ruckus. It's but we know the government, they're going to sort it out, and they're going to take their cut, and they will pass it eventually, and everybody gets paid off, and we get screwed is what's going to happen here with the one big beautiful bill.
Spoiler alert, dude, come on. You're supposed to say spoiler alert. Don't ruin it for, geez, man. It's supposed to be a page turner. We're supposed to be sitting on the edge of our seat. Yeah. Were you saying or implying, or was it true that Elon Musk was complaining about these particular parts, the AI all over the place and the expansion of the technocratic spy grids and all that? Because I would suggest that he's not complaining about those parts.
He doesn't complain about that.
Yeah. Oh, what a shocker. Oh, okay. That's what I figured. I just wanted to make sure there because I was getting my wires crossed. Anyway. Yeah. Wild stuff. Yeah. Did not see any of this coming. This is exactly what we expected. Although I think it was a bit of a troll move, a reverse troll move on the Republicans to go ahead with this. The Democrats forced them to read it because if the Republicans tried to do that to the Democrats, it would be like civil war out in the streets, right? Anyways, that's a story for another day. We lived through that multiple times, mostly peaceful though, obviously. I still have the scars to prove it. But yeah, this reading, 16 hours there. So the Democrats rolled up their sleeves and they said, let's do it. And they read the whole thing. And the Democrats are probably bored to tears, like crying, hugging each other, like, oh, we didn't think they were really going to do it. I don't know.
What does Denver say? Getting rid of tax on Social Security and taxes on tips, to no surprise, those measures did not make the cut. Yeah, all taxation stuff. And well, thanks for that update, Denver. I haven't even been following it that close because to me, we're screwed.
Denver's a pro at this. He also fact-checked the Iranian flags and learned that Iran does make American flags exclusively for Iranians to destroy.
CBO score shows Senate over, just call it 3.9 trillion. So I don't know. At some point, the system stops working. You know what I mean? And so it's all roses now. But at some point, as I think I saw in the chat, they lose confidence, that is the buyers of our debt, and stop buying, and then it's over. And so that day is fast approaching, and it feels like everybody knows that. And so they're just like pedal the metal, steal as much as you can. And we're bailing out when the ship sinks, and screw you, American people. Have fun trying to, in the bread lines.
A confidence game being led by a different type of confidence game players. Yeah.
Okay, great segue to Musk. Musk calls for new political party to stop Trump's insane spending bill. What do you think? More from Musk. Let's read from Musk.
Recycled news?
No, this is brand new. This is pinned 5 hours ago on Musk's X. He says, it is obvious with the insane spending of this bill, which increases the debt ceiling by a record $5 trillion, that we live in a one-party country. Yeah, it's called the government, the Porky Pig Party. It's called the government, Elon. I thought you knew this. But notice he doesn't say, I'm going to go ahead and withdraw from all my federal contracts and subsidies. You notice he doesn't say that. To lead as an example for this new political party that I'm campaigning to create here now. Time for a new political party that actually cares about the people. And you can see how this billionaire oligarch brain chip man, rocket man, and government efficiency expert cares about the people, right? I believe he actually does, there, Ruckus. What say you?
I believe you fell for it then. Because that dude is definitely a con man, for real. Wow. Yeah, no, Elon. I was like, wait, this almost sounds very similar. It's very similar to the last one he said, where he's like, oh, should I have a poll? See if we should have a new party in America that represents all, whatever he said, 89% of the population or whatever. He was making a joke. But yeah, this is what's he going to do this time? He can't get kicked out of the White House again. So what's the point of all this? Maybe he does have political aspirations. I've been theorizing that for quite a while, actually. But he's not born in the country. Everyone keeps telling me this, but I'm like, I promise you, if the world's richest person wanted to make an attempt at some sort of they can make something happen. I promise you. They'll set the stage now. Trump will pass some executive order that lays the groundwork for somebody like Elon, or the response will be maybe the Democrats will do something like that during the halfway through this election. They'll pass a new thing to protect the rights of the foreign citizens. There'll be some little hidden clause that says, okay, yeah, well, we don't need to worry about that constitutional thing that says you have to be born in this country to run for office or whatever it is, right? And they'll make that go away, something like that.
That could very well happen. It also feels like they want to just come out of the closet and say, hey, we're new party, Technocracy. We're done with these fake politicians. We're run by scientists, engineers, technocrats, and there is no more politicians. We're replacing them all with AI. It's already halfway built. We're streamlining the whole thing. And you know what I mean? It feels like this is like the segue to introducing the world to publicly Technocracy.
I guess technically then by proxy, Elon or somebody like him would be the president, whoever creates this ultimate
chairman
AI.
of the board or something like this, right? I don't think they would even, it's not structured like a constitutional republic as our government allegedly is structured.
It would be a DAO, is what it's called, a decentralized autonomous organization. You'll find this in the blockchain space, yeah.
There you go. Here's a short clip from Fox News. Humiliated, being mean told Elon. Here, let's watch this short clip. Humiliated, they say. They said a few things there. Was it part of a humiliation ritual? And then they say that Musk has enough of Trump supporters to start a new party to actually threaten him politically. I don't know about that.
He does own X, And there is a lot of, I mean, when it comes to swaying political opinions,
True.
social media is king. And if you happen to own a social media platform, of course, the two of them do. So that would be an interesting team up. Trump trying to run for a third time against the Constitution, and Elon trying to run against the Constitution. That'd be fun. Like all these situations, whoever wins, we always lose, right? That's great. I'm calling it right now.
That would be fun. We can only hope for 2028 to have
And enter Zuckerberg as the independent candidate.
Oh man. NPR, did they defund them? I forget even. But anyway, they have gotten a lot of taxpayer money, but here's a good report, and they're very left leaning, of course, but here's a report that it seems like we play this game. Why can't the free press just be honest? But we know that everyone has a bias. Anyway, NPR here, the Trump administration is building a national citizenship database system. That sounds like maybe we should be concerned about it. Ruckus, what do you think?
I think I would get in trouble if I reminded everybody who did something like this in history.
IBM? I don't know.
Oh my. Wow.
Oh my.
Papers, identification, anyone?
And so the Trump administration has, for the first time ever, built a searchable national citizenship data system. Not good, man. This is not good. This is what I'm talking about. Under the cover of we're getting rid of the illegals. Okay, but you didn't arrest anybody in the government that enabled all of this illegal activity in the first place. So you ring hollow to me there that they're doing all this for our own good. And
we can't round them up and arrest them and or deport them, but we can round them up and get their IDs and scan their eyeballs and take their fingerprints and then release them back into the wild. And then we'll know who's who, and then we can find them.
DHS, Department of Homeland Security, in partnership with the White House DOGE team, has recently rolled out a series of upgrades to a network of federal databases to allow state and county election officials to quickly check the citizenship status of their entire voter list, both U.S. born and naturalized citizens, using data from the Social Security Administration as well as immigration databases. Such integration has never existed before, and experts call it a sea change that inches the U.S. closer to having a roster of citizens, something the country has never embraced. I don't know. I guess we need to embrace it over the illegal immigration here.
It's like in Blues Brothers, where they're like, "Oh, I bet these cops have SCMODs," and then he's like, "SCMODs, state, county, municipal offender data systems," and he's like, "F SCMODs," and he's like, "Let's get out of here," or whatever. Love that movie. Yeah, no, this is definitely one of those. Hey, hello, this is very, very anti-American. So much so that if we were to do such a thing, it would be the first time ever, like as in the almost 250 years of our country's existence. Neat. But Trump, he's a trailblazer, Sam. So he's just, winning.
Doing it for America, I guess. Morale craters at the State Department as mass layoffs loom. And then you go and read the story, mass layoffs, really 15% or almost 2,000 people are facing layoffs at the State Department under little Marco. But don't you worry, they're going to find plenty well-paying jobs in the private sector here now. And with that, where are we at? Oh, public health. In the alternative media sphere world, old Mike Adams, the health ranger, he's announcing that his new AI search engine, Enoch, is launching this week at Brighteon.ai. He says is the only AI engine in the world that provides honest answers about Alex Jones, InfoWars, and the Sandy Hook trials. It's a bold claim. So we will have to check out there's his announcement on the X there about rolling out his new.
Who made that one? Who?
Mike Adams, Health
Okay.
Ranger, Brighteon.
Interesting name. Now that explains a lot. Okay, so the Enoch. Oh, very, very interesting choice of name, Mr. Adams. Neat.
We're going to have to see how it works. So that's all I could say about that. But I wanted to let people know that he announced he's rolling that out, Brighteon.ai. And so people shall go test it and see what the results you get out of there. Okay, the federal government, they're cracking down here now. Let me tell you, the FBI director, Kash Patel, and his sidekick, Dan Bongino, of podcasting fame, who gave up all his life of luxury to go be a humble civil servant, they've announced a $245 million seized, hundreds of defendants and medical professionals charged, and $15 billion in losses prevented in the largest coordinated healthcare fraud takedown in history. Well done to all state and federal partners who pushed this. That's what Kash Patel posted, and that was in response, or starting a thread here with old Dan Bongino, who has seen the tapes and everything's fine, and said, you just don't worry about Epstein. But he says on this healthcare fraud investigation, he says public corruption will not be tolerated. As the director and I vigorously pursue bad actors who violate their oaths to all of us. What about the whole last administration? Maybe they'll get there. Just I trust in Trump. He goes on to say, we view the theft of public funds the same way. It's a crime against all of us today. In conjunction with the DOJ and our federal partners, we are announcing the results from the largest healthcare fraud investigation as measured by financial losses in DOJ history. Of course, they didn't investigate Pfizer. The investigation spanned 50 federal districts and resulted in nearly $3 billion in false claims with over 15 million illegal distributions of pills. We seized $245 million. We charged 324 defendants, 96 medical professionals, and the intended losses from these bad actors approached $15 billion. Results matter, talk is cheap. And this is not even the beginning of the beginning. If you're stealing from the public or violating your oath to serve, then we're coming after you too. God bless America and all those who defend her. And that's Assistant Director Sidekick, Dan Bongino.
Sidekick.
Well, he's like, they act like sidekicks on social media. And interviews and whatnot. So, what do we make of this?
The previous administration did certainly have plenty of bad actors, and the current administration has much better actors. So I'm glad they cleared all that up, because that's all it is. It's just a show. These people are acting. Yeah, very interesting that nobody is to this day still. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Who's gotten in trouble for pushing onto the public incredibly dangerous, untested drugs? Like, you know, not the drug dealers, but the pharmaceutical companies. The people who are at the top pushing that. There was this one pimp-looking lady with a scarf. Remember her? You know, there was this guy who was kind of like a short and he was wrinkly, skinny, kind of mafia sounding kind of guy. He seemed very shady to me. Tony something. Whatever happened to that guy? You know, what about all those people who were the heads of these companies that created these dangerous products? Oh, wait, they all jumped ship and quit the companies and nobody's ever heard from them since. Oh, okay. Well, then this makes perfect sense. This is just they would get those guys if they could, Sam. So this is the makeup round. This is the consolation prize. Thanks, Kash Patel. Thanks, Dan Bongino. My two favorite sidekicks. That's great.
Well, according to Trump, they saved millions of lives, and that's it. That's the official story. Case closed there, Ruckus, for you.
My heroes.
Some other good news. Speaking of that, Moderna's flu miracle shows positive late-stage trial results, paving the way for a combination with the bats. And so you can get your flu and your bat miracle together in one deal. Moderna is in late stage of their trial, so look forward to that coming onto the market soon. We love it. It's the greatest thing ever. YouTube.
It's only two. It's only the two of them combined.
Right now, that's what they're saying here.
I'll wait till they come up with the one that's got all three. I'm frugal like that.
You're picky. You're a picky consumer. This could save your life. Okay. What do we make of this? They're still pushing. I don't even want to go through the story. I found it. Lab-grown meat is the fake climate food fix that just won't die. Bloomberg headline. And it's like it's true. They keep pushing it. Nobody buys it. Nobody wants it, but it's subsidized with GMO corn and other ingredients. And so they're going to keep pushing it. They're subsidized their research, their lab, budgets, and all of this. And so, anyway, I wanted to, in the interest of time, because we still have a lot to get to. What do you make of this out of the Financial Times? Inside the British lab, growing a biological computer, and they're talking about it's at a laboratory outside of Cambridge. Sits a remarkable machine, and they call it a biological computer. It's 200,000 human brain cells grown in a lab that lie on silicon circuitry that communicates their synchronized electric activity on a screen to the outside world. Now, doesn't it sound like some sci-fi Dr. Frankenstein kind of crazy stuff? What do we make of this? Is this ethical? Isn't that the first question we should ask? Oh, the ethics are a conspiracy theory to these scientists. I see. What do we make of this, Ruckus?
Well, my spidey senses are telling me this is one of those many too good to be true stories. This is like these people need money. This is how they get money. They do these studies, and they become vacuums and magnets for a bunch of investors and research grants and all this crap. And it doesn't get used for this actual stuff. Some of it does. They publish these things. This one was probably written by AI, including the photographs. You think I'm kidding? A lot of these things get caught like that. They find out that a lot of these, well, it's a source. It's a what are these papers called? Where it's like a somebody reviews it, peer-reviewed research. It's all hocus pocus. It's all fake and baloney. They find out later.
What? They wouldn't do that, would they?
But I remember this story. There was another report about this, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago, and I think I included it on one of my Daily Ruckus episodes, and I just found the whole thing just bizarre. I think that story described them. They said that they had quoted the researchers as joking that they referred to it as a brain in a box, but I don't think that that's necessarily true. This seems like a recycled story. They're just bored.
Looking for money.
Really think so. Yeah.
Like you say, Australian startup Cortical Lab.
They'll have an AI that's powered by the brain cells on a saltine cracker, and they'll come up with a cool name, and then they'll turn it into a blockchain project, and they'll pump and dump it, and there you go, and everyone will forget about it like in a couple weeks.
Is synthetic biological intelligence real, or just a fake thing? With UK BitBio also part of it. I don't know. Yeah, and that before
who own, like, when they start creating things that are synthetically created pieces of human beings, a lab or a company or an organization or all of those investors and the grant providers are the ones who own that created thing as part of the deal. And now if you start taking these things, let's say they create like a brand new human heart in a lab, and they own the rights to the patent to the genes inside that heart, and they put that heart inside of you, saves your life, and then you have kids down the road and you pass along some of those genes to the kids, guess what all that means legally? There's a lot of like weird stuff going on with all this stuff. I think Michael Crichton again nailed it with one of his books. I think his one was called Next. Michael Crichton's Next. If you haven't read that novel, check that one out. Wacky book. But I don't like where any of this is going when they're messing with DNA and genomes and synthetic humans and real humans and the mixing and mashing between machines. And the fact is, at the end of the day, somebody owns this stuff, and lo and behold, it's not you, us, the humans. So I don't like it.
Synthetic biological intelligence. They're going to stake a claim on you. What else do we got here? Oh, we got this is ICE, again, very professional here, for the Alligator Alcatraz. I think they're opening tomorrow in Florida. But this is ICE. So as you can see, our federal government is very professional on all of their major accounts. This is Homeland Security, the official gray check mark. And this is what they're posting. I think maybe Barron and his college fraternity are running the government accounts here, Ruckus, it appears, because really, this is what Homeland Security posts, and we're supposed to take them seriously. You know what I mean? Like what?
I'm impressed. I'm not gonna lie. They brought their A game with all of this stuff. I'm concerned, but at the same, there's part of me that's I got my lie. I'm impressed. I mean, yikes! I mean, before you know it, we're gonna have better propaganda than North Korea, China, and Israel. I mean, we can hope, but at this rate, man, I think we're a contender, Sam. I'm excited.
We've been calling for it. As much taxes as we pay. There it is. Okay, so what is this about? I saw this briefly, but it was kind of from last week, but it's still ongoing because they're opening it this week. Protesters line highway in Florida Everglades to oppose Alligator Alcatraz. They're calling it a detention center for illegal aliens that are set to be deported. They're Florida Alligator Alcatraz. And
can we just juxtapose that one next to Trump back in the day talking about draining the swamp? I mean, that would just be like, or does Rachel Maddow have to do it? I don't know.
There you go.
Alligator Alcatraz. I love that.
Alligator Alcatraz. And there's more. Here's some, let's play a short video of the protesters protesting Alligator Alcatraz detention facility as the construction is ongoing.
We have to advocate for all of us. And I don't know if any of you have prayed to a spiritual place, or maybe you go to church to find that spiritual place, or wherever your spiritual place is. Find it in your hearts to pray for these people who are lost so that they can become human beings again. Because if they're human beings again, this will stop.
Well, there's quite a few protesters there. That's
really rude of her to blast that thing in everybody's ears right behind her like that when she turned around.
Here's a Fox News report about it. Let's see what they say. They say Alligator Alcatraz will be ready to house illegal aliens tomorrow. Construction is moving at breakneck speed. What are they calling it? It's going to be a force multiplier. Trump to visit Alligator Alcatraz migrant detention center this week. Reuters is reporting. Set to open tomorrow. Alligator Alcatraz. Let's watch this. Let's watch Fox News report about it with DeSantis here as they built. It's literally, there's a moat. I saw some other pictures. Maybe we can find it. There's a moat around it with alligators in it in the swamp that Trump promised to drain.
All the stuff that goes into intake and processing of illegals, you're seeing this put up. This is all 24 hours. 24 hours from now, you're going to see even more. And by Tuesday, this will be able to have intake of illegals.
And you've thought of everything. Okay, so there are 4 gigantic tents. Let's come on over here, Governor. And people are thinking, okay, you're in the middle of the Everglades. It's hot. That would explain why you've got this bank of air conditioners here.
Yeah, so I mean, this is going to be, illegals will come in, they'll be processed. There'll be places for them to be housed. You'll have an ability for food. You'll have an ability for them to consult legal rights if they have that, because there is a process that's involved with this. So this is really everything. This is going to be a self-contained little area. And then, of course, you also have stuff for the staff that work here. So We've got laundry facilities, we've got showers, we've got, obviously, there you see the shower and bath facilities.
Yeah, right there.
Yep.
Where do you go to get a bunch of bathrooms like that?
Well, so this is being done by the Division of Emergency Management. So when we have a hurricane, like we would actually have people stage here for hurricane response normally, anyways, but we have it when we have all the linemen come in to do the power.
Sure.
We have to set up little areas for them, and so you have all this type of stuff. So this is not our first rodeo. The detainee illegal alien mission's a little bit different, and the deportations. But logistics, we know how to do that.
Right, and you know, for people thinking, okay, they're going to put the migrants on this hot asphalt, it looks like you're building a subfloor, and in fact, some guys putting down the plywood.
Yeah, no, look, this will be, I mean, there's not going to be anything that they're hurting for anything. There'll be AC, there'll be things that everybody needs. There's medical here. So it's being done right, it's being done by the book.
Well, you know, when you think of the imagery of Alcatraz, Alcatraz is surrounded by a bay. Here in the Everglades, you're actually surrounded by gators and pythons.
So this is as secure as it gets. I mean, if a criminal alien were to escape from here somehow, and I don't think they will, you've got nowhere to go. I mean, what are you going to do? Trudge through the swamp and dodge alligators on the way back to 50, 60 miles just to get to civilization? Not going to happen. So not only that is it secure, it also takes this deportation mission out of the hair of our local and state law enforcement. This has no impact on Florida residents because some of that stuff can have an impact on them if it's in more populated areas. And so logistically,
they really are doing Alligator Alcatraz.
This one has to be a joke. This one was AI, right? I know you're trying to pull a fast one on me one of these days. One of these is going to be fake. That's crazy. Wow. I was waiting for DeSantis to say, and then hopefully one of these days we'll figure out a way to do something just like this in order to help the American people.
ProPublica is reporting Kristi Noem, Ice Barbie, secretly took a cut of political donations. Is that really that's
secretly?
shocking?
Then how do we know?
A dark money group paid $80,000 to Noem's personal company when she was governor of South Dakota. She did not include this income on her federal disclosure forms, a likely violation of ethics requirements.
Those pesky skeletons in the closet. They'll get you every time when you're in politics.
She shot her dog. Don't ever forget that.
And herself in the foot, apparently.
And so segue too, she posted this about allegedly, well, CNN is reporting, and Ice Barbie, Kristi Noem, dog killer, posted this. So that's what's this report about an app warning of ice sightings.
Administration steps up ICE raids and mass deportations. One tech developer is pushing back with an app designed to track ICE activity in real time. It's called Ice Block, and it's controversial to say the least. Senator Claire Duffy is with us now. How does this work, Claire, and what are the legal implications?
Yeah, John, I talked with Joshua Aaron, who is the longtime tech worker who developed this platform, and he said he really wants it to be an early warning system for people about the location of immigrations and customs enforcement officers. So he says he does not want people interfering with those officers' activity, but he does want people to be able to avoid them altogether if they want. So you open the app, it looks like a map, and users can tap the map to report an ICE sighting in their area, and then everybody who uses the platform within 5 miles of that sighting will get a push alert. This is a free iPhone app. It is anonymous. Aaron says he doesn't collect any user data. And what I think is really interesting about this in this moment is we've seen so many of the biggest leaders in tech supporting President Trump, but Aaron is sort of an example of the fact that there are people within the tech industry who are really resistant to Trump's policies. I asked him what he would say to those tech leaders who, for example, were at the inauguration. Here's what he told me. Take a listen.
I understand that you have shareholders to report to. I understand that you have employees that need their paychecks. But at what point do you say enough is enough?
And John, I should say that ICE did not respond when I asked them about this platform.
Well, she did respond. Kristi Noem said, this sure looks like obstruction of justice. Our brave ICE law enforcement face a 500% increase in assaults against them. If you obstruct or assault our law enforcement, we will hunt you down, and you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. So
it's really easy to download the app too. I just downloaded it while we were talking. I have the ICE app now, and all you got to do is when you see ICE, you just report it, and hopefully they'll come quick enough before it melts.
That tech bro, he'd be looking at Alligator Alcatraz before he knows it, man. I don't think they're playing around here. I wouldn't play with them. I would not play with them. Apparently that guy felt bold. ICE fears shut down July 4th events in multiple California cities. And so in a strange turn of events, half of Los Angeles will not be having 4th of July celebrations due to fears of deportation by ICE. One last story here, and then we'll take our break. As we wrap up this section of Weaponized News, again, thank you for joining us on this Monday edition of Weaponized News. Thank you, Ruckus, for co-hosting as we try to get through as much news here on this Monday before the 4th of July weekend coming up on Friday. Last story in this section, the Justice Department files lawsuit against sanctuary city policies in Los Angeles, California. And so waste of taxpayer money. The government, federal government, is suing the city government there in Los Angeles over sanctuary for illegal alien policies. Sanctuary policies were the driving cause of the violence, chaos, and attacks on law enforcement that Americans recently witnessed in Los Angeles. Jurisdictions like Los Angeles that flout federal law by prioritizing illegal aliens over American citizens are undermining law enforcement at every level. It ends under President Trump by Miss Pam Bondi, Attorney General, today.
That one's the cop Barbie, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, Cop Barbie, former Fox News woman.
She's
still Fox
the one
News woman. She's all over Fox News.
She's great. She's the one that got us all the Epstein stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. She got those influencers who we all trust that not to propagandize us and try to get to the bottom of the truth, like the good influencers they are. They got that binder, and we learned out all the truth and everything. So they took care of that. It was awesome.
So who's suing who first? Because it wasn't Newsom gonna try to sue Congress, Fox News? Oh, okay, not the guy. Okay, so we're back to this.
No, they're suing Trump too, probably for something similar. They're suing.
This is great.
The state is suing Trump administration, and then he's suing Fox News, Newsom. They're suing everybody. Lawfare is what they call it, right? And so they're waging lawfare using taxpayer money. They don't care; it's not their money, and the lawyers make a bunch of money and literally laugh in our face. And so that's what's going on here, essentially.
This is literally making America great again. This is what America is. This is fantastic news. Like, this means that the war's been called off. Everything's good. The markets are going to pump. It's going to be a good time, everybody. I mean, not so much for those of you with Trump derangement syndrome, I must warn you, and definitely not so good for us who are anti-brain chip people, because that's coming soon. But yeah, this is great news all around. Winning. I'm going to chalk this up as winning, Sam.
Hashtag winning. Trust in Trump. Okay, let's take our live commercial break here. Everybody go to weaponizednews.com, get yourself some stickers. As we wrap up Pride Month, this Pride Month, you can still get your holograph. This one's kind of beat up. You'll get a brand new one. Holograph sticker there with all the colors of the rainbow. The white background sticker there. If you don't like the hologram, or actually you should get all three. You get it in the frame here. And then the clear background you can see here. Put in your laptop, your bumper, your guitar, your Cybertruck, your work locker. Help support independent reporting at Weaponized News. Let me play a quick message from our sponsor, and then we'll come back with some messages from Ruckus.
Running a small business feeling overwhelmed by numbers and paperwork? Abba Zaba Enterprises has your back. Our expert business solutions include accounting, QuickBooks support, payroll, taxes, and top-notch consulting. Let us handle the details so you can focus on growing your business. Business Solutions Accounting, QuickBooks, Consulting, Payroll, Taxes. Call 559-577-9250. Call Abazaba Enterprises today at 559-577-9250 for stress-free solutions.
And we're back, Ruckus. Plug.
Plugging away here. So yeah, get yourselves over to alternatecurrentradio.com if you want some ruckus stuff. You'll find my friends' podcasts like that one there. But you'll find the Boiler Room there. I'm on Boiler Room. You'll find Sunday Wire there. I'm on Sunday Wire. You'll find Roundabout Ruckus. You'll find Daily Ruckus, all at alternatecurrentradio.com. Just go to the menu and you'll find everything you need right there, okay? For other things, not necessarily always Ruckus, but also Word Slinger related, you'll head over to my X account. This is something I made as the Word Slinger. Just share this quote. Words are, of course, the most powerful drug used by mankind, attributed to Rudyard Kipling. You'll find me at AC_WordSlinger. Hit me up if you want a cool social media post like that made for you. Spice up your social media. You need a graphic, a website done? I'm your man. That's it.
That was a great format that you had on there to fit this half screen. That was nice. There's go follow us on the X. For what it's worth, you probably won't see our posts, but turn on notifications, then you could.
So the only thing I can't do is figure out how to beat the shadow banning. I'm working on it.
You got to turn on notifications and don't go to the For Me tab on the X. Go to the follower tab, and you could kind of pare it down, but there's still a lot of garbage that I'm like, I follow people posting this. Like, really? I need to start unfollowing. I think I may. So yeah, at Weaponized News, you can see at the bottom of your screen there. Give me a follow and give Adam a follow there at AC_WordSlinger. You can see right there at the bottom of your screen. Okay, we're back for more Weaponized News on the second half of the show. What do we got? Let's get into our international geopolitical section of the show. Quite a bit here. Again, let's pray for peace. They're killing each other like crazy in Russia, Ukraine, over there in West Asia, just killing the hell out of people all over the place. And really for what? Some land, maybe, allegedly. It looks like blood sacrifice rituals, depopulation. The war profiteers, of course, they're making a bunch of money off of the banks and so on and so on. And the poor go off to die in the meat grinder, and it's quite horrific and needs to stop. And there's no justification for any of it on any of the sides. They're all bad because they're killing people in this way. But hey, even the tyrant Kim Jong-un has a heart. He's reportedly weeping over some dead troops that got sent back home from Russia, Ukraine meat grinder. And so sadly, he's caught on camera showing some emotion over the casket of a dead soldier that came back from the Ukraine-Russia war. Here's that report. Tears of a tyrant. North Korean tyrant Kim Jong-un weeps over coffin of troops he sent to die in Putin's meat grinder war in Ukraine.
I hate to say it, that's probably propaganda.
It is for sure.
It sucks when you know the truth about this stuff. You want to feel bad for him. You want to, it's like, yeah, damn it. They're just doing this. He's just doing this so he maintains support with his life. Look how awesome I am, making my country great again. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Aforementioned, Ukraine forces launch huge attack on Donetsk region, and that's like the key point that started much of all this hostilities was Ukraine going after those Russian people in that area, in that region. And so that was a big part of Russia's unprovoked aggression against Ukraine, of course. And then also there's reports Ukrainian Air Force is attacking with Shadow Storm cruise missiles at Crimea, another point of major contention, another region of contention, the Crimean Peninsula there, of a high strategic value for both Ukraine and Russia. anyway, I think the people there voted to be part of Russia, allegedly, but who knows if any of these elections are not rigged. And then we have this report, Russia masses 50,000 troops around Sumy. This is out of the Wall Street Journal, putting Ukraine in a precarious position. And so things don't look to be winding down. They've been doing the prisoner exchanges, the dead troop exchanges, but they keep on killing the hell out of each other and amassing troops and so on and so on. Here, Ruckus, it's not looking good. Trump promised if he would have been elected in 2020, this would have never happened. He promised if you elect him, it'll be over in 24 hours. And here we sit 6 months in to Trump presidency, 6 months plus, and the war is raging like it always has, like worse than ever here. What do we make of Russia?
Well, that was then, this is now, and he would have been able to do all those things, but the previous administration, this guy, look what this guy did. This is what I got to deal with. Like he could have done it, but it's all Joe Biden's fault. So he's working his hardest, but he took the 20 steps forward ahead of time before he was elected, but Biden had already taken the 150 steps back. So he got the math wrong, Sam. So he was a little off about the 24-hour thing, but maybe 24 separate 2-week periods, and we're done. We're good. 2 weeks. That's all you need. 24 times, of course. Yeah. I mean, I know what's going to happen. Zelensky and Putin are independently going to see the footage of Kim Jong-un crying, and they're all going to have a giant cry fest together. They're going to have a change of heart. They're going to call each other on the phone. They're going to have a big sloppy late night drunk X call together or a Zoom call, and they're just going to end the war. And it's going to be and Trump's going to come forward and he's going to say that was because of me. I won't get the credit, but that's okay. I never get the credit, but that's okay. That's okay. Yep.
They're going to have a come to Jesus moment, possibly over this propaganda image of Kim Jong.
I'll take
crying
it at this point.
I would too. I would take, I'll take that as a big win, actually. Here's Wall Street Journal. Chinese Communist Party now has 100 million members. Many are in it for a paycheck. In a sluggish economy, membership is seen as a path to a stable state sector income. And so you can buy your way into the Communist Party there and have a government job and be set, I guess, and fulfill the scientific dictatorship there in China. It's a very
American dream,
very promising future for the Chinese Communist Party. It's coming. Yeah, it is coming to America sooner than most people want to believe. We're already pretty damn close.
Hey, who doesn't want job security, dude?
China. Okay, so hey. You can go on summer vacation to China visa-free if you're from France, Germany, Italy, Spain, Netherlands, Switzerland, Ireland, Hungary, Austria, Belgium, basically all of Europe, a bunch of South Pacific island countries. So they're offering to a lot of countries, actually, China, free summer vacation, visa-free there in China. And what is going on in Serbia? There's been a massive unrest in Serbia, and Russia is claiming it's another Western color revolution. That we actually have Lavrov. Let's play this clip from Foreign Minister out of Russia, Lavrov, claiming that the unrest there in Serbia is another Western color revolution. I don't know. I thought Doge ended USAID. Let's see what Lavrov is claiming here. Dirty Russian.
We would like these disturbances to calm down, and as the president of Serbia, Alexander Vučić, said, they should be resolved on the basis of constitution and the laws of this state, which is friendly to us. We sincerely hope that the countries of the West that are, as is the custom, trying to benefit from disturbances and unrest in different countries to promote their interests at the expense of interests of other countries. We really hope that this time they refrain and stay away from their custom of color revolutions. Serbia.
It is custom.
It is customary. Here is some of the crowd there in Serbia, the protests against. They say the demonstrations are part of attempts to destabilize a democratically elected government. I don't know, man. Sound like commies to me. It's hard to know, but the West does have a history of fomenting domestic discord with color revolutions, NGOs, nonprofits, spies in countries, as Lavrov said, to try to take advantage of unrest.
That's fake news.
Oh, we're going to get to why. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. Well, right here, actually, I actually agree with you there, Ruckus. Per a new DOJ memo, this is reported by James Lee on the X. He says, you can be denaturalized, quote, denaturalized and deported for criticizing aardvark land, being critical of war with Iran, or sharing information the Trump administration deems to be against U.S. national security interests. And here is the DOJ memo in question. Cases against individuals who pose a potential danger to national security, including those with a nexus to terrorism, espionage, or the unlawful export for the United States of sensitive goods, technology, or information, raising national security concerns. There you go. We're for Trump now, trusting Trump. Sorry about ever questioning Trump, Ruckus.
Does this apply to like just anybody, like me? Like I was born and raised in New Hampshire, white boy here. Can they denaturalize me for doing any of those things? Where are they going to send me? I'm from here. Like, what the heck?
Alligator Alcatraz.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. I'd prefer that place overseas, if you know what I mean, that island resort area. Guantanamo, that's right. You thought I was thinking of something else, right?
Oh, man. Here is, what did they do here? This is posted by Ryan Dawson on the X, and he says when they eat each other, and they're talking about in this video of, well, let's watch the short clips, 30 seconds. Ukrainian scammer stole $80 million from aardvarks in the last 12 days under the pretext of donations to their air defense system. Horrific. Let's watch this short clip.
I can't believe Ukraine would do that to us. That was not an attack against Israel. That was an attack against the United States. Because by doing that, to compensate, guess who has to foot the bill?
Us, taxpayers here.
Wrap your head around that one. So, yeah. Ukraine owes us so much money. The price tag has just gotten a little bit steeper.
Somehow that's also my tax money.
Yeah, it's all our tax money. And well, it's not all of ours tax money, if you know what I mean. But hey.
So Iran has announced the official death toll from the 12-day war, it's being called, with aardvarks. Iran raises death toll from war with aardvark land to more than 900. They specifically say how many 935 people were killed in the country during the 12 days war. There you go, over 900, and then here's their official death count. 38 were children, 132 were women, and so that's the latest death count there for the 12-day war. Ruckus.
Is that how it's listed in Wikipedia or something? The 2025 12-day war.
That's the AP, so yeah, they'll probably cite that in Wikipedia. And so, yeah, what's the big deal? But there's reports that, how long were they plotting this? 15 years, 15-year plot, Operation Narnia, by the aardvarks to kill Iran's top nuclear scientist. The New York Post is reporting it was a 15-year plot. Huh? We were told in 2 weeks that if action wasn't taken, they were going to have the nuke and nuke everybody, but they've been plotting it for 15 years.
That was then, this is now. Things are different.
So you guys know how many, like 17 of them, I think, maybe even more than that. Aardvarks went and assassinated Iran's top nuclear scientist. Imagine if some country assassinated our top 20 nuclear scientists. We just went, oh, well, you know, they're working on nuke stuff. So, like, what? They did that.
How about people, the scientists who are working on the miracle juice? Huh? That would be just awful. That would be, please don't, whatever you do, don't do that. Don't do that, please.
So what do we make of, well, let's play this first about the old, let's play this clip. I found this, I don't even know how I came across this, but this is, well, let's watch this short clip.
Palantir is working with the IAEA and is supplying their software for use in the IAEA's Mosaic program. And I did find this from Bloomberg from 2018. Peter Thiel and Palantir are at the heart of the Iran nuclear deal. And they talk about the relationship between Palantir and the IAEA and how they are providing their, AI, whatever, algorithmic big data analysis software for the IAEA to come up with its assessments. The question is, why now? Well, obviously Israel would take any excuse that they can get, but the explicit excuse that appeared on the table was this IAEA updated assessment, which led to the IAEA actually censuring Iran over non-cooperation or whatever phrase they used. And where did this report come from? Well, it seems, at least to some extent, it has been informed by Palantir data. So yes, there is an answer which should be very concerning to all of us who are concerned, as you say, at least about the specter of Whopper and the war games of the future and the ability of some AI-enabled assessment to...
Of course, that was the great James Corbett. So, I mean, if you couldn't trust Palantir's assessment of Iran's nuclear program, then I don't know what we can trust in this world, Ruckus.
Well, obviously we can trust Palantir. Actually, lucky enough for me, thanks to the work of people like James Corbett and my colleagues Patrick Henningsen and Freddie Ponton, who just recently discussed this in great detail on their program, The Midweek Wire, about the IAEA and how Palantir was heavily involved in skewing those numbers to just they played a direct role in the propaganda that was used to justify that military action. So if anyone wants to take credit, by the way, for the action that took place and the beautiful bombs being dropped on Iran, it's not Trump. I hate to tell him that. It's Peter Thiel and his cronies. It's Palantir. So I encourage folks to listen back to that Midweek Wire. You'll find that on our website, but on Patrick's website, 21stcenturywire.com as well. Good stuff. But and shout out to James Corbett for bringing attention to that too. They might be the only few people talking about this. It's wild, though.
So Palantir actually deserves the Nobel Peace Prize and not Trump. So if I'd be outraged if I was them.
Maybe we already have the Technocratic Party without Musk's involvement.
Sure seems so. It'll be a smooth transition, that's for sure, because all the pieces are already in place. They're already lining up bombing missions. So, hey, top Iranian cleric issues fatwa against Trump Netanyahu. Do we believe any of this propaganda? Is it even worth going over?
It's always worth going over, but I'm not going to believe it.
According to Fox News, the War Channel, Iran's top Shiite cleric issued a religious decree against President Donald Trump and Aardvark Land's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu yesterday, an act some experts called an incitement to terrorism. Let's see how much we could stomach of this Fox News, where they tell us about, will it play even? Let's see. Maybe they don't like us to play their propaganda. I guess we won't.
We can play this one in our heads. We just saw it in a flash. We all know what they were going to say and how they were going to look, and how they were going to act, and everything. It's all the same garbage.
Here you go, Fox News. So I don't know, top cleric, but wasn't it the threat level assessment from the Department of Homeland Security said that they're looking for religious signals from the government that are going to trigger the sleeper cells and other radicals to take action, which would be do a terrorist attack. So it's kind of tying into that, but not really.
This is an important piece of the puzzle. This one will be part of the official story that the kids learn in their school books after the next big event that's about to happen soon. I don't know when. It is 4th of July soon. There's the whole anniversary of the country thing next year, even if we make it through the woods this year. I mean, there's a lot, man. Hold on to your butts, everybody, because you just know that the powers that be, somebody somewhere, whoever or whatever they are, the proverbial they, are ultimately looking to try to do something and make it look like it was XYZ. And we got the pieces of the X. We were finally getting little pieces of the Y. We're just waiting for the Z,
That's the boogeyman we all need.
Yep. Oh, yeah, they'll know who did it ahead of time. They'll be talking. They're already talking about it. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, they'll pull up all. Remember when they were talking on Joe Rogan about this guy? We tried to warn you, but Biden, he ruined it all. Our weaponized news, those anti-Semitic people, it's all their fault. We should arrest them ASAP.
What? Aardvark court postpones Netanyahu appearance in graft trial. And so he's stealing from his own aardvarks. And that's like the worst crime that you could commit. But since he's a quote, wartime president, they're going to delay his graft trial over there in Aardvark land. In large part, they're saying due to President Trump. He posted this on his True Social. It's terrible what they are doing in Aardvark land to Bibi Netanyahu. He is a war hero and a prime minister who did a fabulous job working with the United States to bring great success in getting rid of the dangerous nuclear threat in Iran. And he goes on.
It's a shame you can't use Grok on True Social, because I would be asking Grok, is this true?
Here's Levitt, Barbie press secretary.
Cabbage Patch doll.
Okay. Here she is being asked about what's going on there with our real president and Trump.
The president has been calling for a deal in Gaza for 2 days and many posts. Who is blocking the deal? And one other thing, when he posted on Netanyahu's trial, also he said it interferes with the negotiations on Iran and on Gaza. What did he mean by that?
I'm sorry, to your second question?
When he posted about the Israeli Prime Minister trial, he said it interferes with the negotiations on Gaza and on Iran. What did he mean by that?
It interferes because it physically and logistically was interfering. The prime minister was slated to go to court last week when he's in the middle of negotiating a peace deal and bringing hostages out of a war-torn region. And so the president was simply, I think, emphasizing his empathy that he has for Bibi Netanyahu and seeing him go what he's going through with his own judicial system in the state of Israel. Clearly, the president knows that very well. He, too, was a victim of a judicial system that was trying to put him in jail, as you all know. You all covered it, but President Trump prevailed. That's why he's back in the Oval Office, and he believes that Bibi Netanyahu is a great leader for the people of Israel. The president just worked with him closely to end that 12-day war and to obliterate Iran's nuclear facility, to take out that imminent threat, not just to the state of Israel, but also to the United States of America and the rest of the world. And he
That was the worst comment. That was the worst answer she's given yet. And I love the racist ear she had to give the lady. Like, I can't understand this crazy lady, what she's saying with her accent. I understood the lady just fine. I was shocked but I could tell already she was having trouble the way she was like raising her eyebrow and trying to lean in and hear better. And then her answer sounded a little bit like she was talking down to her too, possibly taking into account, mistaking that perhaps since she couldn't understand the lady, that maybe the lady couldn't understand her, which is ridiculous. And I don't like that answer at all. And she's comparing apples to oranges because all the people know, all the MAGA people, all the non-MAGA people know that the main idea is that Trump was innocent and that these were witch hunts, meaning that he was not guilty of anything and that this was garbage trials for him to be going through. That's not the case with Benjamin Netanyahu. He's going through a real, legitimate legal process for an actual concern in his country. And as you pointed out, Sam, it's not because of like, oh, there's some legitimacy concerns about whether or not this trial should be happening. It's only because that he's got it postponed because of the war actions. And then for Trump to come out and is like, oh, he's a war hero. Which is it, dude? Who's the hero? Is it Trump? Is it Palantir? Is it Netanyahu? Does it change with the time of the day? What the heck is going on, man? It's just driving me insane. The Trump stuff is just driving me nutty this week already. It's only Monday.
Well, we're calling for Netanyahu to actually be awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. So
why not? Give it to him. Let's do it.
He's coming. It's being reported.
Let's do it in the form of like a nice golden television VCR computer or something. Some golden device. That seems to be a theme these days. They do like the gold. Very gaudy, but yeah, we aim to please. Gold plate everything. Our post says Netanyahu to visit Washington on Monday. Sources tell the Post, so we can look forward to our Congress. They'll probably be on vacation by then after ripping us off for $1 billion in the big beautiful bill. But at least this guy will come and give Trump a good shakedown. So, Alex Karp will be there to welcome him. It's okay. Make
the deal in Gaza. Get the hostages back. They're still acting like they care about the hostages. This was posted by Levitt, Cabbage Catch, Barbie, blonde press lady. Look at this propaganda. Talk about propaganda. Palestinians in Gaza express gratitude to Trump as U.S. Harvard-backed GHF aid is distributed. I love you, Trump. Really? We have more reporting on this situation.
I love you, Trump. I love you, Trump. I love you. كل العالم.
That was posted by Press Secretary Lady Levitt.
Was this before or after they gunned them down? Oh wait,
we're getting that for later.
That looks staged. That looked like they were told what to say and what to do, and I sure hope it wasn't at gunpoint. Either way, this is a disturbing, blatant, in-your-face like exploitation of starving people for a political message, and it's probably one of the most disgusting things I've seen in a long time, and I'm being deadly serious.
Well, that's your White House press secretary.
My opinion.
That's your White House press secretary.
She's awesome. Way to go, Cabbage Patch Doll.
Oh man, it's horrific. And this is another horrific update on the genocide continuing there in Gaza. Now, at least 229 journalists have been killed in Gaza since October 7th, the worst attack in the history of the world. By the way, segue, because we're talking about a lot of, is this fake, AI generated? Can we trust the news stories? All this, question everything. Always do your own research, as we always say here. But I was watching the Grand Theft World podcast last night, and they played a clip where they're questioning, did October 7th even happen? Was it AI generated? And they were playing this clip, I forget even who, but they made a good case. They showed a couple of clips of it, and it's like, it was clear AI, and they're trying to say this was from the body cam footage that Hamas had, allegedly, and it clearly looked like AI generated video where like it's all pixelated, and you could, it didn't look right. Anyway, so I don't know if that's true or not, but I would question everything nowadays with, we see publicly the Google VO3 that any consumer can get. And so imagine what the intelligence agencies have, you know what I mean? And have had for a very long time. And so just keep all of that in mind when you're seeing stuff, as we all should, because everybody...
So the public gets all the good stuff first. We get to test it out before they rely on it. I mean, because it's too important to just try something in the middle. No, obviously it's the other way around. But yeah, that's we have moved swiftly, far too swiftly for my comfort, from the post-truth world into the post-reality world. That's where we are.
229 dead journalists there in Gaza. The Cradle's reporting today. Aardvark tanks plow through northern Gaza as dozens killed in high-intensity attacks. And so that's your genocide right there. But we just, the Trump administration acts like it's not happening. IDF would lie, call you anti-Semitic, whatever, blood libel, terrorist, essentially, for saying they were killing people at the food aid stations. Well, they are. We'll get to that. But first, IDF kills a woman and children in Gaza beachfront cafe bombing. Very graphic. The Cradle and a bunch of mainstreams reporting it. And so that happened in the last 24 hours. Doing a show. I don't even want to like showing the images, just people blowing up. It's here's the headline, so we can put that on the record at least. But like it's people blowing up. It's horrific. It's war porn, and so everybody could go search that and see it in your mainstream if you want. There's the Cradle posted graphic images and more graphic images by the AP here. We won't play those either. It's people blowing up, all strewn out, injured or blown up. 22 killed as Aardvark forces fire towards Palestinians in Gaza seeking food aid. Let me put that on the screen, AP, so everybody could officially see the hate of the AP right here. And so it's official now, even though they'll lie and say that this is some type of hate conspiracy or something, anti-Semitic hate conspiracy. You could see 22 killed as Aardvark forces fire towards Palestinians in Gaza seeking food aid, witnesses say. And there's video of bodies strewn about. So I believe that is happening there, Ruckus. And then Reuters reports, Aardvarks acknowledge Palestinian civilians harmed at Gaza aid site. Says lessons learned. Well, they're trying not to get caught on film is the lesson learned, and they keep posting it on the interwebs. The IDF's already warned them multiple times, stop posting your war crimes and genocide on the interwebs, and the IDF just refuses and keeps posting it. So they need to do something about that, Ruckus. Quite horrific indeed there.
Maybe Elon can help with a special form of Starlink communications that will block that type of content.
Maybe.
Uses AI and it can tell, okay, we will allow you to pose yourself rummaging through the women's clothing and donning the dresses and the underwear and posing in those pictures. But if the filter picks up that it's violent images, it doesn't go through. It's all pixelated and blurred like the scrambled porn channels back in the day on the cable.
Or just bad reception. Yeah, I remember that. Okay, State Department spokeswoman Tammy Bruce, who also said that she puts aardvark land ahead of America, very appropriate. In this day and age, I'm not even going to play the clip. I'll just, reporter asked her at the press conference today, will U.S. cut aid to aardvark-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation after IDF admitted killing civilians? The State Department, the answer to that is certainly no. So there you go.
Good enough for me. Right?
Good enough for me too. Keep on funding that genocide, America. You love it. Okay, Bob Villain. I don't know if you guys saw this over the weekend. I'm not going to play it because we'll probably get in trouble. But there was a concert over there.
The BBC didn't get in trouble, so yeah, I'm just kidding.
We're not the BBC. So the BBC was airing live a concert at West Holt Stage at Glastonbury, and they knew these guys, Kneecap, were coming on, this Irish group, and they knew that they were waving Palestinian flags and whatnot, stirring up controversy at previous concerts. And this other guy, Bob Villain, honestly never heard of him, but I guess it's a kids concert thing. He came out and started to chant "Death to the IDF, death to the IDF." We denounce that, any violence here at Weaponized News. But anyway, he went out and started that over the weekend, and it's really cost them, honestly. U.S. revokes UK bans visas over anti-aardvark chant at Glastonbury, and then he also lost his. His visa, his right to travel to the United States for that little stunt, and he's been dropped from United Talent Agency, which was representing him as an act. So it looks like it may have destroyed his career, at least coming to the United States and trying to perform live. Ruckus, I don't know.
This just in. Guess who the headline ban is for China's tourism department? They don't need a visa to come vacation. Never mind.
As reported earlier, that's a great point. So he may be going on tour in China. Okay, so what's going on here? Aardvark Farm Minister Gideon excuse me, there's something in my throat. He was on I-24 News. He says that aardvark land is pursuing normalization with both Syria and Lebanon. The ceasefire that wasn't in Lebanon and Syria. I don't think they ever had an official ceasefire in Syria, but they said that it was all for your own good. As Western intelligence, radical jihadists murdered a bunch of Alawites and Christians as they took over the government. Now things are starting to normalize. We got all those pesky, refuseniks out of the way. And so ISIS is now firmly in charge, i.e. Western intelligence of Syria. And to smooth it all over, aardvark land is going to require that Damascus, of course, the head of Western intelligence government running Syria now, to recognize the Golan Heights as aardvark territory. And so the expansion of greater aardvark land continues. And I do believe that we're going to see that actually happen. U.S. envoy to Syria, Tom Barak, admits that the PKK, officially labeled as a terrorist group by the U.S. and Turkey, as well as its branches like the SDF, it's hard to keep track of all these different groups, and YPG, all have ties to terrorism and ISIS. And of course, who's that? That's the new government there in Syria. And so They are essentially ISIS, Western intelligence assets. And what do you know? Trump today signed an executive order terminating U.S. sanctions on the Syrian government. Here is
ISIS. I don't have any room on my plate for ISIS right now. It's too full.
Trump took the sanctions off ISIS, so it's all good. They're
the good guys again.
ISIS are the good guys running Syria's government. Yes, indeed.
Love it. Full circle.
Full circle, and all is well there in West Asia as the genocide continues. Trump officially ends decades of U.S. sanctions on Syria. And so this guy, of course, and they're all hanging out with the Saudi sheik. Isn't this all wonderful? This is in a strange turn of events here, Ruckus. Aardvark settlers attack the IDF, throwing rocks and attacking them, basically. So these guys are even, there's no audio on this video anyway, but these guys are so radical, the ultra Zionists, the quote settlers, that they'll attack anybody and everybody, even their own IDF. Is how crazy it all is there now.
Well, they didn't vote for that IDF, so they're like, not my IDF.
They attacked the IDF with pepper spray and throwing rocks. They're lucky they weren't gunned down. If they're Arabs, they'd be gunned down right now. They are.
Or if they were fans of Bob Villain and Kneecap, that would be bad.
They were angry over troops using live fire on settlers who'd attacked a patrol earlier in the day, is what caused that mob of settlers. British court rules F-35 parts sales for use by aardvarks is legal after they were challenged in court by a NGO human rights group out of UK. And so the court said everything's fine. And so the war profiteering on genocide will continue out of the UK.
But if they sold those parts to anybody else, I'm sure it'd be a problem.
Well, it's for the greater good there in Aardvark land.
Andrel, something.
Andrel is another part less talked about than Palantir, but they're another one of these technology firms that are engineering.
Lucky Palmer or Palmer Lucky? Okay, so his last name is Lucky. Okay, these guys have a drone that will scare the crap out of you if you haven't seen it. Just a side note, check it out someday.
Andrel, and so they're up-and-comer military industrial complex tech company. And well, here he is, actually, the aforementioned. That was a great segue, Ruckus, to prominent tech entrepreneur, calls himself a radical Zionist, defends Aardvark's right to exist, and that is the aforementioned Palmer Luckey. Here he is.
They all just had this lockstep narrative. Palmer Luckey is a racist, misogynist, which is so funny. I'm actually a radical Zionist.
What is a radical Zionist?
I strongly believe in the right of Israel to exist as a Jewish state. People are like, that's so problematic though. It's so ethno-state adjacent. I say, I don't care. After what happened to them in World War II, they deserve a place where they can do their own thing and protect their own people without getting wrecked by everybody else who hates them. And you know what? Maybe someday everyone who hates Jews are going to be gone. We are not living in that world today. And people, it's a slippery slope though. If they can have it, why can't the KKK have their own state? I say, that's not going to happen. It's absurd for us to even have this discussion. It is very reasonable for the Jews to have a place that is theirs. And they say, oh, but what about the Palestinians? You know what? That's a separate political issue. Like the existence of a Jewish state, which is what Zionism is. The belief that they have the right to a Jewish state, the existence of a Jewish state, is separate from the issue of what do you do with refugees from some physical area.
Are you Jewish?
No, I'm not Jewish. I just believe in the existence of a Jewish state.
Right on.
Do you happen to own a company that makes a shit ton of money on prolonged wars in the Middle East? Well, yes, actually, as a matter of fact, but that has nothing to do with my position, sir. A radical Zionist, yeah. I'd seen that clip. That is old. I know that story's old, so that was recycled there. But this guy just recently, not that long ago, sometime towards the end of last year or the beginning of this year, scored a very lucrative, I don't have the number in front of me, with the eye-watering amount of zeros at the end, contract with the military for their new Anduril-made VR helmet goggles for the Army to use. So the Army have these awesome new goggle visors with this heads-up display going on, like right out of a damn video game, Call of Duty, all that stuff that you see on your screens when you're playing the video games. The soldiers have that right in front of their eyes thanks to these people. It's pretty neat.
That's awesome, man. Okay, that's all we got. We got a closeout clip. We will annihilate everyone in Gaza. Aardvark children singing, "We will annihilate everyone in Gaza," and so that's very heartfelt. And then
this is a good tune. That's a good choice.
We're going to have this presentation, 50 minutes, digital ID or digital prison, and 5 pillars to enslave humanity by Alman Jabi, and it's from like November 2023, but it's all still pretty relevant, I would say. For those that want to stick around, we have to sign off of YouTube because they'll say third-party violation. And so let's go check out if anybody's on any of these channels, Ruckus, and see what the.
I saw some chatting going down all night. So yeah, they're out there.
We got people on a few people on the Odysee. Shout out to Odysee. We got researcher Huffman, Highland, Wire. Thank you guys for tuning in on the Odysee. We had quite a good chat going on the Rumble as well. Thank you guys for tuning in on the Rumble. Carrie, Karen, Denver, Chloe, a few others maybe snuck in there. Thank you guys for tuning in and keeping the chat lively. On the YouTube, Young, thank you for we say it was AI footage, but real people got off directly. Yeah, maybe. They have to give something real, right? Kagan Murphy, thanks, lads. Well, thank you for tuning in on the YouTube. Kagan, final words before we play out here. And shout out to Bitchute audience, and where we at? X, Rumble, we already said, Facebook, Kick, and YouTube. Final words here before we sign off?
Actually, I'll do a quick plug to remind people. Yesterday was the premiere of an appearance I made with my friend and colleague Jamie Hanshaw, Jay Dyer's wife. We did a 3.5-hour long stream about social media, artificial intelligence. It included a review of the Netflix series Adolescence and a book written by an interesting person, Jaron Larnier, called 10 Reasons to Delete Your Social Media Now. And the book was written 7 years ago. The conversation was fascinating. The subject matter was great, and I highly encourage you to check that out. I'm going to try to put it up at Alternate Current Radio's website as a roundabout ruckus, but until I do, you can find that on Jamie Hanshaw, Hanshaw, her YouTube channel. She does a show called Out of This World, and you'll find me on there. It was a good one, so I encourage you guys to check it out. And thanks for having me, Sam. This is can't say it's been fun, but it's been real. God bless you all.
All right, everybody check out Ruckus's latest episode there. And then as aforementioned, we're going to play out with this, and then, well, what the hell, we'll just cut YouTube off right now because we love you, YouTube, but come over to Rumble if you